to be here.
Brothers and sisters who love one another and have done in years past and gone, how oft we've met in sweet heavenly union that opens the way to God's throne. With joy and thanksgiving, we praise Him who loves us while we are on the bright shining way. Though we are past here in body, we are bound for one glory and bound for each other to praise. There was Jacob and Joseph, Elias and Moses, and Silas and Peter and John, with Abraham and Isaac and Solomon and David, who prayed as they traveled along. There was Simon and Anna, and I don't know how many, who prayed and God heard from His throne. Some cast among lions, some bound with wrought irons, yet praises and glory they sang. There were 3 of the Hebrews, most valiant and faithful, with courage went into the flames, while praising and praying they entered the furnace, yet trusting in Jesus' name. While Samson was dying, he was heard of God crying, and Saul as he fell by the way, see Gideon a marching, for truth he was searching, and so to the Lord he did pray. I love the words of that song. It goes on and on. And I don't too hoarse to sing it all, but you know what? I've never heard that song, and the old man that I call Papa, Brother Roy Hudson, our moderator, he was an old man, and when I didn't, because I never met either one of my grandfathers, and he lived right next door to us and was moderator of our church. He was the man I always called Papa when I was growing up. And times was hard, and he had to move south. They had to leave us and move to Kentucky, and it broke his heart to leave that little church and leave everybody. And I was just a young teenager, wasn't in church. And we were helping him, me and Daryl was helping him pack up, and we was over there, and it got late at night, and there was no furniture hardly left in the house, and he was sitting on a box that was in his living room, and he said, "I want to sing you boys a song." He says, "It's an old one." And he sang that song, and I don't know why he did, and he barely had breath, he could hardly talk, and he sat there and sang that song, and I've never forgot it after that. And I think about it quite often. And I think about that evening, me just a young sinner, teenager, the impression that he left on me. And how easy it is that we can affect those around us. And I don't know if I'll preach it all or not. I had stuff on my mind that I thought I would get into, but I don't know. I don't know. It seems like I have as much feeling to cry this morning as to preach. So we'll just get us a song ready, but I'm thankful this morning to be here, and I'm thankful that all these kids are running around. Maybe today there'll be an impression made on some of these children that after we're dead and gone, it may still be there, you know. And when Brother Roy, he ended up moving to Kentucky, and I soon got in trouble on account of my sins, and was in need to talk to him, but was afraid to talk to him at the same time, and had done a lot of praying, and he made a trip to Michigan. He heard that we was in trouble, and he came up to Michigan. That I'll never forget that weekend he came, and he would always spend the night with us. And you know, when I was growing up, many times you could wake up in the morning and he'd be sitting in the living room. Wouldn't be another soul in our house awake, and he'd be sitting there in the living room just waiting for someone to wake up and talk to him. And because my mom and dad, they never locked doors when I was growing up. They just didn't do that. And I always wondered, how did Mom and Dad put up with him just coming and going like he lived there? But you know what? I think my Mom and Dad also had their eyes set on something a little higher, and knew that it was good that he would be there with us. And you know, and he came. I'd been praying an awful lot on account of my sins, and had rolled my bed at night, and was in a lot of trouble. But you know what? And I thought, listen, I thought God heard me cry one night, and I felt relief flood over me. And I was just a young man. I was 17 years old. And you know what? Just almost the next thought that came right behind that relief was, who are you trying to fool? Listen, there ain't nothing to you. Listen, and I found then that I would try to pray on account of my sins, and listen, and went before it would keep me awake about all night long, tossing in my bed. I began trying to pray, Larry, on account of my sins, and my mind would just wander off, and I'd fall asleep. Listen here, and you know what? I'm being a young foolish boy that I was. It scared me, and the first thought I had was, I've sent God right away from me. He won't even talk to me anymore. Listen, that's the way the devil wants us to feel. But you know what? That old man, listen, he came out of Michigan to spend a couple of weeks with us, getting ready, listen, for our church time. Might have been our memorial meeting out of Little Zion Church. And when, listen, I come in, I've been working at the sawmill, listen, with Eddie and his family, come in that evening, and he was sitting at Mom and Dad's kitchen table there, listen, and he was probably smoking a cigarette and drinking a cup of coffee. Listen, and I sat down, me and Daryl sat down, I had talked to him, and he just looked at us. He had those big old thick glasses that he wore. You know how he could see out of those things. And he was missing several fingers on one of his hands. I lost them when he was younger. And you know what? We sat down there, and I was wondering, oh Lord, I'm miserable, Lord. How can I get this conversation, Lord, about you? Papa just sat there, and before we even started talking, he began patting on the table like that, and he was just grinning from ear to ear. Oh God. And he said, boys, I'd love to get my feet wet this weekend. That was the first thing out of his mouth. And oh Lord, And I thought, Lord, is this old man going to try to talk me into joining church? Listen. And I couldn't hold it. I said, Papa, I said, I can't even pray on account of my sins. Listen, I said, I used to pray, but now when I pray, I just fall right to sleep. Listen, oh, Lord. And he said, what greater witness do you need? God's given you peace in your heart. Oh, God. And when he told me that, listen, it was a light going off for me. And I told my mom after Papa had went to bed, I said, Mom, I tell you right now, if my mind don't change, the next time I'm in church, I'm going to join us. Oh, Lord. About 2 days later, on a Wednesday, I don't even know why this is on my mind. About 2 days later, on a Wednesday, I come home, and Mom said, we're going to run down to Brother Glenn's. I'm going to have church down there tonight. Oh, God. Right down, they lived down just about 8 miles, didn't they? In Warren there. And we went down there for church, and that little bitty house they had, that little living room they had, it was just wall-to-wall people sitting there. Listen, and I sat down on the couch there, and here's how naive I was. Listen, I didn't think nothing of it. And then Brother Roy had me sitting right next to him on the couch there, right in that little bitty living room. It wasn't even big as this, I don't think. But oh, Lord. And he closed out that meeting there in that little living room. And we was just all, you know how we do in the White after meeting. We was all just standing there. The brothers were singing, and Papa was just pacing back and forth, preaching hard as he could preach. And listen, no doubt I was crying like a baby. Lord, Lord, let me do what you'd have me to do. I was waiting for God to move me. I wasn't looking to move for God. I was waiting for Him to move me. Don't always work that way, Larry. But oh, God. And they finished singing that song, and they got quiet, and I thought, well, I've lost my chance now. I'll have to wait for another time. Listen, and Papa preached a little bit more, and he said, get you another song. I ain't done yet. Oh, Lord. And they began singing another song, and as he went back and forth preaching, and when he walked by me, I just stepped down and grabbed him one time. Oh, God. Listen. People, we've got work to do. These children here, they ain't never gonna forget the sounds they hear out of church. They never gonna forget seeing God's people get down on their knees. Oh, God. Aren't you glad that Jeremy, just like you was preaching about, where are your riches? Where's your heart at? Listen, does pride keep you from serving God in front of people? Oh, God. I had a woman the other day at work. Listen. She said, I heard you're a minister. And I said, I am. And we talked a little bit. And I told her about our website and where she could go. And listen, and the next time I seen her, she said, I heard you preach a couple sermons. And she began to clap her hands. Listen, and she said, praise God today. We don't know how we're going to affect somebody. We don't know why when somebody needs just a little something. Listen, you know, we preach these old stories. Why our loved ones that's gone on, those that serve God. Listen, I hope I can live my life someday. Maybe my grandchildren's children may hear a story that I serve God. Isn't that what you live for?
Amen.
You know what? Daryl told me one time. When you was on the brink of death there, listen, and he said, they came up to see you, made a little prayer. He said, you look like a skeleton. I think maybe you had an IV hooked up to you. He said, and you look like you had 1 foot in the ground already. But he said, it didn't stop you from praising God. He said, he'll never forget that. Seeing that you could barely move, and yet you was praising God. Oh God, I heard, listen, this old man one time, and he's gone now. Brother Freddie Baker lived down there at the holler where my mom lives, where my mama lives. And he said, years and years ago, my mama was born in 1901. She was an old woman when she left this world. And he said he woke up one Sunday morning, and there was about 1 inch of snow on the ground. And he thought, I better get down to the old Dorton Creek Church. It was the old church house, not the nice one they've got now. He said, I better get down there and build a fire. He said he got out and got in his car. They always had a little money there and lived pretty good. And he said he got in his car, and when he backed out in the holler there, and he seen one set of footprints coming from out of the holler and out. And he said he just followed those footprints in his car all the way out, and got down. There were no 4 lanes, but got down to the old road, and he followed them. About another mile, he followed those little footprints all the way to the church house. And he said when he got there, my mama was in there trying to build a fire. He said she didn't want everybody to come into a cold church house. People, where's your treasures laid up? Where's your heart at this morning? Why these children here? Why they're in Sunday school today? I says, you don't know how much I love this little builder here to come up and shake my hand. And he told me one day this was his church here. Oh God, you know what? If we never saved a soul, but maybe this little one when he grows up, listen, isn't it worth every dime? Isn't it worth every hour and that we put into it? Whoa, God, I don't know about you, but I'm trying to make my way home. I'm trying to lay the groundwork here, so that I can hear my Lord call my name. I can hear my Lord I say, come on a little higher where I am. Someday, are you ready to go? Are you ready to leave this world here? Are you ready? Why to bid him goodbye? It just don't get much better than that. I said in the beginning, when things are going good, anybody can serve God.
Oh yeah.
Or say they're serving God. And get by with it. I heard somebody tell Kathy one time when Eddie was all in the hospital, Huntington there. Cabell Hospital, the trauma center. When they was looking for Eddie to die, doctor said there was no hope for him. That even if he lived, he'd never be able to breathe on his own. That tree had just crushed him right down. And they said there was no hope. And we was all gathered there at the hospital. And his brother came down there, his older brother, raised an atheist, same way Eddie was. Now listen, and we were sitting out in the lobby, and he said, "Where's your God at now?" Now listen, I tell you where my God was. And my God had his arms around his family, had his arms around his children. Listen, that's where my God is. I don't know where your God is, but I know when I'm in trouble, I know where my God is. Listen, and I don't want him to let go. I wouldn't be able to live without my God. Listen, but this world, they can do whatever they want. I know where he is. He says he's in the hospital with your little brother over there. I don't even gotta ask. I know he's there. And you know what? He don't have his hours. Why? But he's always there. Why? When Eddie woke up, listen, when he was laying there, and he woke up, he said, "I saw two men sitting up in the corner while I was laying here asleep." Listen, I know where my God was. Why? He was standing watch over the flock, wasn't he? He was the good shepherd. Why? Keeping the wolves out, wasn't he, Larry? Aren't you glad today? That's the way God works. Let's sing us a song and bring it to a close. How wonderful that it is that we have a God like this.
Thank you, Lord.
Why then? We may see a beggar, but God sees a king. Time and time again, he proves it to us over and over. I told you as we're sitting around talking this morning, Larry was talking about in the 1st of May, how the children, my mom, and you said even you, used to throw your shoes away and would get permission to take your shoes off in the 1st day of May. And my mom said they were all poor back then. As she said, but your daddy, his family was the poorest of them all. And your daddy had such tender feet he couldn't go barefooted. And she said, and we would all see him after the 1st day of May, going through people's garbage cans, trying to find shoes to wear that he could wear all summer long because he couldn't go barefoot. And she said he'd pick out all different ones and try them. But you know what? Listen, there's coming a morning. God's going to put some shoes on him. God's going to dress him up. Listen, in a way, you talk about standing on the gospel grace. That's what he'll be walking on. Aren't you glad today? That's the kind of God we serve. The church doors is open. But I'm glad that God, he's made a way for us.